Breaking news. Nigeria's secret police, DSS Operatives, storm SERAP office in Abuja, demand to see their directors. Personnel of Nigeria's secret police, the Department of State Services, DSS, on Monday stormed the office of the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, in Abuja. This was disclosed in a post shared by the civic group on Monday morning. However, the group said the DSS officials kept asking for its directors, indicating that they came to arrest them. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, a leading human rights organization, has been vocal in its criticism of the Nigerian government's human rights record and has filed several lawsuits against the government on behalf of victims of human rights abuses. The reason for the attempted arrest of the SERAP directors is not yet clear, but it is believed to be related to the organization's recent activities, including its advocacy for accountability and transparency in government. The group wrote on their official X handle, "Officers from Nigeria's State Security Service, SSS, are presently unlawfully occupying SERAP's office in Abuja, asking to see our directors. President Tinubu must immediately direct the SSS to end the harassment, intimidation, and attack on the rights of Nigerians." On Monday morning, the DSS arrested the Nigeria Labour Congress President, Joe Ajero. It was learnt that the Labour leader was arrested at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja while planning to leave for the UK. The storming of the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, office by Nigeria's Department of State Services, DSS, on Monday raises profound concerns about the state of democracy and civil liberties in Nigeria. This event, which has sparked outrage and demands for transparency, is not an isolated incident, but part of a broader trend in which security agencies are used to intimidate and silence dissenting voices. In this analysis, we will unpack the motivations behind the DSS action, its implications for Nigeria's democratic health, and the broader socio-political ramifications. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, is a prominent civil society organization in Nigeria. Over the years, it has consistently advocated for human rights, transparency, and government accountability. SERAP has filed numerous lawsuits challenging government corruption and human rights abuses. Its voice has become a cornerstone for democratic activism, with its work placing it in direct opposition to certain powerful elements within the Nigerian government. By focusing on cases of mismanagement, public sector corruption, and violation of socio-economic rights, SERAP has drawn both national and international attention to governance lapses. While celebrated globally, its actions have frequently earned the ire of the Nigerian government. The DSS raid is indicative of a growing intolerance for organizations that hold power accountable. The DSS's storming of SERAP's office in Abuja has prompted serious questions. The personnel were reportedly demanding to see the directors of the organization, leading many to believe the raid was part of an effort to intimidate or arrest SERAP leadership. What makes this situation concerning is the fact that no official reason has been given for the action. This vacuum of information is problematic, leading to speculation that the move is politically motivated, especially in light of SERAP's recent legal actions and outspoken critiques of government practices. To truly grasp the significance of this event, one must understand the broader political context in Nigeria. Historically, security agencies like the DSS have been used as tools of political repression. During military dictatorships, the use of state security to target opponents, journalists, and activists was common. Even in post-military Nigeria, however, there have been concerns about the excessive power wielded by the security forces. The current administration under President Bola Tinubu, while heralded as a democratic government, has faced criticism for its handling of dissent. SERAP has been particularly vocal in its advocacy for transparency and governance, including calling out various administrations for human rights violations. In this light, the raid on SERAP's office seems to signal a resurgence of authoritarian tendencies, potentially undermining Tinubu's commitment to democracy. Critics argue that this use of the DSS against civil society organizations echoes back to darker times in Nigerian history, when activists were routinely targeted for daring to speak out. The fact that the DSS has not yet provided a justification for its action further fuels suspicions that this was an effort to silence SERAP's investigations into the government. One of the most worrying implications of this raid is the chilling effect it may have on civil society in Nigeria. Organizations like SERAP play a vital role in promoting accountability and transparency, especially in nations where corruption and human rights abuses are rampant. By targeting SERAP, the Nigerian government sends a message to other civil society groups and activists. No one is immune to the state's repressive apparatus. This tactic could lead to self-censorship, where civil society organizations feel pressure to reduce their activism out of fear of retribution. Such a development would be a significant setback for Nigeria's democratic project. A thriving civil society is essential for holding government institutions accountable and ensuring that power is exercised responsibly. It is noteworthy that the raid occurred around the same time the DSS arrested the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) President Joe Ajaero. Ajaero was apprehended at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport while en route to the UK. This parallel raises suspicions of a coordinated effort to clamp down on key figures within Nigerian society who pose challenges to the government's authority. SERAP's call for accountability and transparency, coupled with the arrest of a prominent labor leader, suggests a broader trend of stifling dissent. It seems the government is responding to growing internal pressures with heavy-handed tactics, rather than engaging with opposition voices constructively. Such actions could further alienate the Nigerian populace and tarnish the government's international image. From a legal standpoint, the DSS raid raises several questions. Was a warrant issued for the search or the intended arrest of SERAP's directors? If not, the raid may have been in direct violation of Nigerian law. This legal gray area makes the DSS action even more problematic, as it reflects a disregard for the rule of law. Furthermore, there are human rights considerations at play. SERAP's work is founded on principles enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution and international human rights treaties to which Nigeria is a party. The government's apparent disregard for these principles in its dealings with the organization sets a dangerous precedent, one that undermines the rule of law and the protection of basic freedoms. Public reaction to the raid has been one of outrage and dismay. Many Nigerians see this as an affront to democratic values, and there have been calls for President Tinubu to intervene and rein in the DSS. SERAP, in its public response, directly called on the president to end what it described as an attack on the rights of Nigerians. For a government that purports to be democratic, these incidents paint a different picture. The administration must demonstrate a commitment to transparency and human rights, both of which have been cornerstones of SERAP's advocacy. The lack of communication from the DSS only adds to the perception that the government is not acting in the public's best interest. This incident is a reminder of the fragile nature of democracy in Nigeria. It underscores the need for vigilance on the part of civil society and the citizenry to ensure that the government does not overstep its bounds. The raid on SERAP is not merely an isolated event. It is a symptom of a larger issue of state overreach. It is crucial for Nigerians to engage in discussions about the role of security agencies in a democracy and demand greater accountability from their leaders. Civic engagement, press freedom, and an independent judiciary are essential to maintaining the balance of power and protecting the rights of all citizens. In conclusion, The DSS raid on SERAP's office represents a significant moment in Nigeria's democratic journey. It is a clear warning of the dangers posed when state security apparatuses are used to intimidate or silence dissent. The absence of transparency around the raid, the concurrent arrest of a labor leader, and the broader political context suggests that this is part of a disturbing pattern of repression. For Nigeria's democracy to thrive, the government must be held accountable for its actions. Civil society, media, and ordinary citizens must continue to raise their voices in defense of the rule of law and human rights. The SERAP raid should be a catalyst for broader discussions about the limits of government power and the protection of civil liberties in Nigeria. What do you think about the raid of SERAP office by Nigerian Secret Police, DSS? Your comments and opinions will help shape this ongoing discussion. I will see you again in my next update. Enjoy the rest of your day.